possession. A miss. Sengun on the ground. Ball is loose. And Curry comes away with it. The Warriors sniffing it down. Curry. Body healed. Body healed for three. Mike Dunleavy has seen his team go on a 12-0 run. A quick burst. 2:25 remaining, and the Warriors' lead is 20.
And with that, Golden State is moving on to round two. Welcome to Playoff Central live in the building alongside Dominique Wilkins and Jalen Rose. We got complete post-game coverage coming up right here on NBA TV. That was a bit of an ugly game. You know, as far as Game 7s are concerned, not the most poetic basketball game. Where do you want to start here? Jalen, I'm going to start with you. Where do you want to start? Where was this game won?
I want to start with the Warriors. Usually, if you can hold Steph Curry to one basket at halftime, you have a great chance to beat that team. However, Buddy Hield had a historic performance, made 9 threes, 33 points. We saw Jimmy Butler get going late. We saw Draymond Green make defensive plays throughout the game. So I want to make sure I get the Warriors their props. But I can't ignore a 52-win team who outplayed expectations in the Rockets, was a number 2 seed. Just watching Sengun, time and time again, miss layups right underneath the rim. Do weak post-ups and fall-aways with smaller guys against them. And so for Houston, going back to the drawing board, I think what they're going to probably do is start shopping Jalen Green. Because if he has 8 points in a Game 7, what it shows me is that they're still looking for a go-to guy. They have a great young team, but I think they're still looking for what they consider a go-to guy.
All right, no question about it. You know, Draymond, look, you play all year to get to this point in the playoffs where you got to show up. You play all year to be that guy. And he just hasn't had a great playoffs. And you look at their defense, the Rockets. I thought the defense was excellent, but they just couldn't score points. And to your point, they missed bucket after bucket after bucket in the paint. They could not find any offense inside the paint. So it made for a very ugly game. And they couldn't find their offense consistently. So a veteran team, Golden State Warriors, exploited that. And they was able to pull us out. And that's the only thing I feared in this game, that veteran experience would come to the top.
And both of you guys were saying, as we're watching this game, even the shots Steph Curry got in that second half, they were difficult shots. They were not easy shots. It should have put them in a position to win this game, because at one point in that third quarter, they were down 3 points.
Absolutely, and Pozinski was even giving them good minutes when Steph was struggling. But to your point, the shots that he made initially were well contested, tough shots. Even his reverse layup may have gotten away with a walk, but it's a historic move because it's in the Game 7. But I applaud Steph Curry for staying engaged in the game offensively and not forcing shots when he was struggling. And once he got going, he tried to take over.
You and I talked about this earlier back, is that your great players are the ones who always rise to the top and step up. We knew that Steph Curry wasn't going to be quiet all night long. He's too good. He's too great of a shooter, cagey player that knows how to play the game. So we knew he was going to have a breakout at some point. But when you get a guy like that down, when you get a team down and you can't score, I don't care what he does, it's going to be hard to win that game because you can't find offense. So, but it was Buddy Hield who was the star of the show. He was able to pick up the slack while Steph Curry was going through his struggles, and then all the other teammates started to pick it up. Jimmy Butler started to pick up. Now, you got 3 points off of their bench. When you get 3 points from your bench per game, you think you're going to win this game. But the Warriors was able to hold down the fort with their starters and get the job done.
And I guarantee you, in the coach's room right now, while they're celebrating what happened this year, they're really looking at their team and they're saying, like, who can we count on when things get tough? So they're looking at Van Vliet, they're looking at Thompson, we can count on them. Sengun, he's going to be our anchor down low. I get that. You can't really replace what he's going to bring at that position. But they're going to need more to bring to the table what Ime wants. Dylan Brooks wants to be a physical player, and he is a tough player, but he struggled offensively. He got to find a balance in his game. So I want to salute the Rockets for having a great season, but I am frustrated watching them scoring 89 points and miss. And we have to ask underdog or somebody today. I counted 15 missed layups within the charge circle. And Sengun, You just got to go to the rim and finish. And I know the human highlight film knows that better than anyone.
Listen, man, when you're that big and that talented, stop shooting all these floaters. You got to go with a sense of urgency. You got to go up strong because you got the ability to do all that, because what that does is get you to the free throw line as well. If you don't make the shot, you create that contact to get to the line. And it was just too many soft shots and floaters around the basket. And that's why they got all those missed layups. And it wasn't just him. It was, you know, a majority of those guys was on the floor who got inside that couldn't make the layups. So that hurts you, man, and that takes a lot of points off the board.
Hurts the momentum of the game too, right? When you've seen those and they're starting to pile up. It's not just one guy. There are multiple guys missing. I gotta say though, Amen Thompson, man, he is special.
You know what? He plays hard. You know, he gets after you. He's not afraid. He gets downhill, and he started to pick it up and started to make shots. But I think the biggest problem for the Rockets is their focus at times. And that's the youth. And that youth kind of came to the top, you know, in that second half. Now, when they cut it to 3, I said, okay, here they come. They have a shot now. But again, it was certain plays that kind of stopped their momentum.
And like you mentioned, you could tell Thompson was giving it his all. Probably had a cramp, probably injured his calf, but he still tried to find a way to be out there. And you know what you're going to get from him. But for the Warriors, they didn't wake up this morning thinking that Buddy Hield was going to lead them in scoring and make 9 threes. Because if he doesn't do that, clearly the game is a lot closer and Rockets have a better chance to win. But you have to be kicking yourself scoring 89 points. And look at this action for Buddy Hield. Once he got going, they started running plays for him. And this was a heat check off of one leg, Neek. And then before you know it, he's getting going from downtown, and they couldn't shut him off.
When a great shooter gets hot, it ain't much you can do but try to keep the ball out of his hands. And Steph Curry realized he was gone, so he didn't worry about his offense early. So he was able to hold down the fort. But then you know, classic Steph Curry, he's going to take over in the end. And that's what happened. He just got in attack mode and really put it to the Rockets. The Rockets had no answer for that. But I thought it was a total team effort by the Rockets. You look at Jimmy Butler, you had a quiet 16, but they were big 16. So did Draymond Green, had a big night. He started early, knocking down shots, but collectively, they made it very difficult for the Rockets.
And you can see the Rockets, it's one thing to make threes, but it's another thing to do it in flurries like Buddy did throughout the game, and like Steph started to do once he got going. You can see those threes going in along with those missed layups, and all of a sudden, their shoulders started to slump. The body language ended up being poor, and that's what happens when you're a young team trying to figure it out in this situation that's never gone through it collectively before.
Well, nobody really expected Jalen Green to have the type of series that he had. I mean, not the consistency that they had hoped for. So they had to go back to the drawing board and see how they address that situation with him.
Yeah, Jalen Green finishing with 8 points in this game, 3 of 8 shooting in 30 minutes. Ime Udoka, he's at the podium right now. Let's listen in to what he has to say.